Hello, my name's Nigel. I sometimes like having a rant about EV ownership because I've owned a Tesla Model 3 for 3 years. And before that, I was driving diesel and petrol cars. Hope you can subscribe and like. It's great for the channel and it would be lovely to have more people listening to me. So yeah, there's lots of myths about EVs and I can only give you my experiences since I've had one. Not paid by anybody. I just like to see accurate information out there. And there's a lot of misinformation. I mean, a friend recently said to me, how's the Tesla then? Looking as if, it's almost as if he thought it wasn't doing very well. Because he said, well, Trump and Elon Musk. But as if it's some way affected my car. Well, it doesn't affect my car one iota. The car's just as good as when I first had it. In fact, it's better because with upgrades, software upgrades, it just gets better and better. There's no question about that. But it's as if somehow the car has devalued because of what's happening in the US with Elon Musk supporting Donald Trump, which is nonsense. Anyway, some of the myths I would like to go through, and I think often I'm trying to get to my friends to say, no, that's nonsense. You're reading misinformation. But anyway, let's go through a few of them. For instance, there's a myth that it's bad for the planet, which is absolute nonsense. And if you want a test of this, just go in your garage with your diesel or petrol car and run the engine for 10 minutes. Well, you're not going to do that because you know how bad it is. And imagine, you know, you've got kids, grandchildren, and you're walking along the road and the traffic lights are on red and there's a lot of fumes coming out, or cars often park, don't they, with engines running even on a nice day. I saw one the other day, engine running, window open, so that all the fumes are going in. I think on a cold day, yeah, I think yeah, it's cold, okay, but you're nice and warm and everyone else is getting pollution. So imagine walking past lots of electric vehicles stopped at a red light and it's lovely clean air. And it's a myth to say that you're simply transferring pollution somewhere else. That is not the case. And I'm surrounded by wind turbines and I charge at night at 8p a kilowatt hour, and it's a great price. Coal is a thing of the past. Wind, solar, wave are much more common, and the renewable energy is becoming much more part of the way we live. And I'm hoping to get solar once my roof is done, and I'm going to do that. Cost wise, that's another thing about cost. Look, I'm charging at 8p kilowatt hour. What does that actually mean? It means it costs 1/8 the price of petrol. And when people talk about EV prices, initially there's an outlay, but you can get an EV well under 10,000, even a Tesla for 12, 13,000. And it's going to have years and years of life left on it. Don't worry if it's done more than 100,000 miles. The battery is capable of way more of that. Don't be put off by some of the early people who had EVs. Some of the Nissan Leafs deteriorated quite a lot, but the Tesla Model 3, people are getting 250,000, 1 million miles out of them. So as far as cost is concerned, initially you could have a slight increase. You don't have to buy new, but in the life of the car it will be far cheaper. And of course, the biggest thing of all, you're comparing electric vehicle to a petrol vehicle, but it's so much quieter and it's cleaner and it's much nicer to drive, and so you're just not comparing like with like. Also, its lifetime is much better, as I was kind of saying, touched upon earlier on. The lifetime of an electric vehicle, and certainly a Tesla, is pretty big, and so it's going to last you a long time. It's so sad to see information in the media and the press. Much of our press owners don't even live here and don't pay taxes, and they like getting their right-wing opinions across to people. Quentin Wilson last year was on his way to a right-wing broadcaster to give his opinion on a fire that was on a passenger car carrying ship. And when the broadcaster realised it wasn't an electric car, they cancelled him, and so he turned back and went back home. And that's the story, isn't it? You know, that there's only a story if it's an electric car. You know, they're not reported. All the other cars, petrol, diesel, it's not reported. Likewise, when Tesla shares go down, it's reported. When they go up, as my friend said, he was quite surprised when I told him that the Tesla shares have gone up. I said, really, have they? I didn't know that. And I said, yeah, because they only report when the price goes down. And that's the world we live in. If you really want to know about driving a Tesla or any electric car, just go on YouTube and see what people say. I would avoid those that don't actually have one, or are driving some very expensive legacy automakers. Yeah, it's strange actually, because when people refer to a lot of electric cars, if you're talking about Mercedes, BMW, I think, well, they're just legacy automakers, and they make a really good petrol car, but they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to electric cars. And there's a big revolution going on. It's so much about software now, and there's if you are thinking of buying an electric vehicle, I would say just go ahead and do it, and you won't look back. But there are so many myths. An electric vehicle is 40 times less likely to catch on fire than an internal combustion engine. The key is in the title. But a hybrid, and as they seem to be very popular at the moment, I don't know why. Why do you want an engine and a battery? Come on, make your mind up. Much more likely to catch on fire. We've got the infrastructure now, and that's another myth. There isn't the infrastructure. I mean, the majority of people charge at home. I lived in an apartment for the first 2 years of owning the Tesla, and I could charge there. So what's the problem? You know, you live in an apartment. Would you have no electricity? Can you not get a charger put in? Speak to your landlord, for heaven's sake. He will have a much better property if it's got charging, because in the future people are going to want to charge. And to say you live in an apartment and I can't charge, well, that's just nonsense. You know, really, if you wanted water in your garden, oh, I can't water my garden because I haven't got a hose pipe. Well, get one. I mean, it's just a nonsense. And so if you are in a terraced house, a lot of people are putting in these drains that are cut into the pavement, and so you can have your lead and without tripping anybody up. And yes, I know you might not be able to charge, but then again, you might not be able to park in front of your house anyway. So what? But as more and more people get electric cars, there's going to be more charging, and there are a lot of chargers all around the place. You don't know where they are because you only go to petrol stations. That's if you haven't got an EV. But the other thing, of course, is if you look at comments on here about driving EVs, the vast majority, I would say 95%, are very, very positive. Most of the negative reports on here are from people that haven't got them, who have read snippets from the newspapers, don't quite understand it. And but if you are thinking of buying a new Tesla, use my referral link, and there's a discount, £500, and please use it. And I hope you can subscribe and like, and I'll like to put these out once a week. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really do hope you can subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.